The dance lesson. Cinderella raced into her attic room and looked at her mouse and bird friends. "Guess what?" she asked excitedly. "There's a ball at the palace tonight in honor of the prince. Every maiden in the land is invited. That means me too." Cinderella's mouse friends clapped. She was always doing nice things for them, from sewing little outfits to sharing scraps of food. She had even rescued them from the mean cat who lived in the chateau. Gus, Jacques, and Perla, and the other mice were glad that Cinderella would get to do something fun for a change. The birds twittered in agreement. Since Cinderella's father died, her stepmother had treated her like a servant, making her do all the housework and cooking. Meanwhile, her stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella, wore the finest clothes and did exactly as they pleased. Cinderella opened her trunk. Her stepmother had said she could go to the ball if she finished all her chores and found something suitable to wear. Cinderella finally found what she was looking for, her mother's beautiful pink dress. She pulled it out of the trunk excitedly. It looked a bit old-fashioned. She would have to alter it if she didn't want to look out of place at the ball. "Oh dear," said Cinderella with a sigh. "There's so much to do. I can only go to the ball if I finish my chores. And today, stepmother has given me more work than ever. There's washing, mending, ironing, cooking, scrubbing, sweeping, and..." Suddenly a loud shriek came from downstairs. "Cinderella! Come here immediately and help us get ready for the ball," her stepsisters cried. "Well, I'll see you in a little bit," Cinderella said to her friends. "I'll have to fix my dress later. I'm sure there'll be plenty of time then." She left her room and ran down the steps to Anastasia's room. "Mend my dress," Anastasia screeched as her stepsister entered the room. "I'd be happy to," Cinderella replied. "Let me just get a needle and thread." "Hurry back," Anastasia ordered. "I'll need you to help me with my hair." As Cinderella walked down the hall to get a needle and thread, Drizella poked her head out the door. "Where have you been?" she demanded. "I need you to polish my shoes. I've been waiting for over 30 minutes. "I'll polish them right after I fix Anastasia's dress," Cinderella replied. After she finished helping the stepsisters, Cinderella started to go downstairs to work on her chores. "Cinderella," her stepmother called. "Where are you going? I called for you an hour ago. My cloak needs to be ironed." "Sorry," Cinderella replied. "I was busy helping—" "Oh, never mind," her stepmother interrupted. "Just let me know when you're through. I might have something else for you to do." A couple of hours later, Cinderella had finally completed all of her stepmother's requests. Now it was time to do her regular chores. She was starting to think she wouldn't have time to fix her dress. Cinderella went downstairs and began to sweep and scrub the floor. Suddenly the mice and birds appeared. They noticed Cinderella seemed sad. They knew she wasn't sure if she would be able to go to the ball. Jacques had an idea. "I know," he cried. "We'll help Cinderella." All the other mice nodded in agreement. They got some tiny brooms and sponges and began to clean the floor. The birds used a cloth to wipe up the dirt. When the cloth needed to be rinsed, they put it in their beaks, flew over to the bucket, and dropped it in. Soon the room was done. "What would I do without you?" Cinderella exclaimed, patting each of them on the head. "You are so good to me." The mice and birds smiled happily. They cleaned with Cinderella for a while, moving from room to room. As they worked, the mice and birds sang happily. One of the tunes sounded like a waltz, and Cinderella began to imagine the magical evening ahead. Everyone would be dressed in the finest clothes. She would wear her mother's beautiful gown. The ballroom would come alive with music, dancing, and laughter. The handsome young prince would bow before her and ask her to dance. Suddenly Cinderella stopped daydreaming. "Oh no," she cried. "I've never been to a ball. I don't even know how to dance." "Don't you worry, Cinderella," Jacques smiled reassuringly. "I'll show you how to dance. Easy pie." With that, Jacques bowed before his friend Perla and extended his hand. "Dance, please, missy?" he asked. Gus was the conductor. He got all the birds to sing as Jacques and Perla spun around the room, gliding across the floor. As she watched, Cinderella began to move her feet to the music. When the song was over, Cinderella clapped merrily. Jacques and Perla had looked so elegant. Then the mice tried to get her to dance. "Oh, I'm not sure I'll be able to dance as nicely as you," she said. "Just listen and move." "See," said Perla. "Not so scary." Using her broom as an imaginary partner, Cinderella began to dance around the room. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, she said to herself. keeping time to the music as she looked down at her feet. At first she danced slowly, but after a few songs she was twirling gracefully across the floor. The mice joined in, glad that they'd been able to teach her some dance steps. Cinderella led her friends across the room. Everyone swept and cleaned as they waltzed. When the birds finished their song, the mice all cheered and clapped. "Good, good," Jacques cried, beaming. "Lucky Prince gets to dance with Cinderella." The rest of the mice collapsed on the floor, unable to stop laughing. "I don't know that I'll be able to go to dance with the prince," Cinderella said with a giggle. "But at least now I know I won't step on his feet if I do. Thank you all so much. With your help, tonight might be the night that make all my dreams come true. I just need to finish my chores. If you'll excuse me," Cinderella continued, "it's time for me to clean the chandelier. Then I'll move on to the washing and ironing. After that, I just have to feed the horses, scrub the kitchen, polish the candlesticks, and mend some dresses. I'm sure there'll be a little time to spruce up my mother's gown." The mice looked at one another. They knew Cinderella would never have time to work on her own dress. But they'd take care of it. It would be a wonderful surprise. After all, Cinderella had to go to the ball, now that she knew how to dance. They raced upstairs and got to work. The end.
No, I don't want.